everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back. Ted, how are you?
Good morning, Jay. I always giggle when you open these things up. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I want to know what's on your mind. Tell us what's going on.
That's a loaded question these days. I'll say this. I've been in a state of reflection, to be honest with you. Somewhat deep reflection, to be honest with you. So I turned 51 recently. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You know, as you get older, your birthdays kind of they're just a thing now, right?
No. Sorry. I'm going to stop you right there because you should be celebrating them more as you get older because it's more remarkable that you are around and what you've experienced.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to hit that because I think part of the reason, I'm a reflective person anyway. But you know the deal, and everybody with us today knows the deal. Sometimes you get something thrown at you that puts you into a deeper reflection. And that's kind of what I want to throw out on this Monday morning Jumpstart is that, I turned 51 and many, many, many people have heard about my man, my father. Well, he got diagnosed with cancer at 51 and was dead the next year.
Wow.
And so the reflection, I just got chills on my arm saying that. And so here I am feeling very connected to life, feeling healthy, feeling strong, maybe most importantly, feeling young. And then reflecting back to when I was in my young 20s and here this grandiose man who I considered old, right? He was my dad after all.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm the same age as him with two boys looking up at me. And for the first time, kind of seeing life through his eyes, like all the things that he must have felt because I feel so young and he feels, and I looked at him as, he was old and just how young he was. And so I open up with this reflection, not to put an emphasis on where my mind is necessarily, but you know me well enough that when things like this come my way, I share them just to double down on things that I've talked about in the past. And if anybody has heard me speak or talked about, I'm always trying to push people off the proverbial cliff to lean into life a little bit deeper. And so the interesting word, the word that comes up for me in my reflection is depth. And depth and all, am I going deep enough with the people that I work with and that I coach? Am I deep enough and fully present with the people that I love the most? Like, am I grabbing everything that I want out of life, or am I getting through too many days? Right. And so it brings me to say, and sort of the theme that I want to bring to everybody on this Monday morning Jumpstart is under this umbrella of reflection of here, this man was 51, who I thought was old, and one phone call changed the trajectory, and 11 months later, his life ended. And so my question to you is, are you sitting back and you're going, am I not ready to start this writing career? Am I not gonna, what do I need to do to fully prepare to go be a solopreneur or whatever it may be? And my nudge today is put foot on path because I don't know. I think here, and Jade, you may agree or disagree. Here's my experience. I don't know if you're ever going to feel fully ready.
Nope, never.
I just don't. However, I think far too many people sit back and put so much thought into what it means to be ready versus putting foot on path. Like, I don't need you to go run the 3-mile path today. What I need you to do is put foot on path and decide what that means. But I don't know if you're going to feel fully ready. And so, that's where my head is, Jade. Like where my head is. And it's not, I don't want to like elaborate on it too much as sort of touch on this idea of if you're sitting back and feeling as if you're not ready or you're handcuffed because why are you waiting, truthfully? Yeah. And to go explore that a little bit.
Imagine, Ted, like you were not Ted and that you didn't start this. And you were still doing, what you were before, because it was obviously not an easy thing for you to. Okay, so if anybody doesn't know, Ted is a solopreneur, and he started his own business as a life coach because you had that desire and that passion and the gift. You knew your gift, right? And you didn't sit on your gift. Now, I can't even imagine how different your life would be or how different you would be if you carried on sitting on that and you didn't take any action towards it.
No. I can't fathom it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And so it's like, what are you sitting on that you're withholding your gift from the world, right? Like, I believe writers and writing is a gift. And if you have that, you are like holding back other people as well as yourself, right? Because you're not sharing that, and you're not like helping all the companies and the clients that you could be working with. And for your own happiness, I can't even imagine. Like, I cannot even imagine, because you are now, if you're listening to us now, you're aware of that desire.
Yeah.
It's not quiet, right? You have that in you because you've come to us and you've come to this place. So you've acknowledged that. So you can't unacknowledge something that you've once now acknowledged. So now you have to honor that thing. And doing anything that you have never done before, I think is very scary, right? Like off the bat.
Yeah.
Always. But I also think, Ted, I think one of the misunderstanding is the right word. Like, and I don't know how you did it. So maybe you tell me how you did it, but it doesn't always have to be one thing stops for the other thing to start, right? Like, put foot on path, and to create that change, you don't have to completely let go of anything you're doing right now. You just add this to it, right? And then the momentum comes, and then you can make, different decisions on what your life looks like and what your career looks like and everything like that. But I feel like sometimes it's more scary because a lot of people, I think, feel like the one thing is to stop for the next thing to start, right? Like,
yeah.
If you're unhappy in a job, you usually look for the other job while you still have this job. You don't give the one up and then, some people do, but there's different ways of going after. But I think you got to honor that voice inside you, and once it's there now, there's no going back. There is absolutely no going back. And life is short, Ted. I mean, I don't know, you didn't go there and you didn't say it, but it's so short. Like, you got to do the thing. You got to start. Yeah.
Well, no, trust me. I once wanted to write a book. I may never write a book in my life, but I once wanted to write a book, and I wanted to focus on all the cliche things that we throw aside that mean everything, that would have us living a purposeful life. So life is short. Okay. Right. And we say it, but do we really grab it until we get kind of poked? And I live pretty intentionally, but yeah, I mean, like I said, man, my father was 51. I turned 51 and I feel great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, and so, but even the thing that you're bringing up about not doing it, or some people that we're with today, not really diving into this writing thing and the solopreneur journey or whatever. I mean, you can do the studies about elderly people that when their time comes and they're interviewed, regret.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you had to take every risk in the world. And which blends into the latter part of what you said. I would never coach anyone to just put both feet in and go all in and leave a career and do all these things. And you have to be thoughtful about this. A couple episodes ago, we talked about vision. I think that's the first step, and you let that guide you. You have to let this journey evolve. And my business today is very different than it looked 12 years ago. I mean, night and day differently. Yeah. It's still, the core of my work hasn't really changed, but the way I involve clients, the way I involve and partner with businesses, et cetera, has evolved. And so you just have to, that's why this language of foot on path, lace the shoes up, put foot on path. You don't need to figure it all out. I know, again, that sounds cliche, but there's so much emotion behind what that does. Emotion causes inactivity. And so today it's just really like a poke in the bear a little bit of saying, why are you not taking action? Are you saying you're not ready and you have to do X, Y, and G and check all these boxes? I mean, some people have probably heard the story from me, but and I'm just putting a stamp on something that you said. I had a brilliant mentor, a gentleman older than I, and he was just a dear friend and mentor. We used to get together for coffee. And he introduced me to this, all he said to me, because I had a job and I wanted to do this. And he said, I just think it's interesting that it needs to be either or. And I will never forget that moment in time. I had never had anybody say that to me. And it changed the trajectory of my life. I kept my job. I started my business. I ordered business cards. And that was the start. I was not ready. I had nothing on paper. I had no business plan. I didn't know anything about finance or taxes or whatever. But I was officially in business.
Yeah. It's so funny.
And it evolved.
How funny is it when these things always come and tie together? I literally read a quote before we got on here, and it was talking about how you would not tell a baby that one day they're going to ride a bike, because it would seem so like incomprehensible to somebody that cannot even walk, right? So you right now sitting there might be thinking, I'm just the baby that cannot even walk. I cannot ride a bike. Nobody's asking you to ride a bike yet, right? You just go start
Foot on path.
walk first, yes, and then it evolves, and then one day you'll be riding a bike and you can't believe that you got to that place and how amazing it was and how it all builds on each other, right? But so sometimes it's better not to even look too far down and just it's right in front of you, the very next thing.
I love what you say there. I use this metaphor, foot on path, in my work when I give talks and things like that. And what you just said sparked. One of the things I said is I don't want you to just put foot on path and dart down the path. I want you to put foot on path, pay attention to the bunny hopping away, pay attention to the beautiful trees, pay attention to all the little signs, signals, lessons, and all these things that are right here in front of you, like you just said, and start soaking them all in and learning, and let your business evolve into what it could possibly be. Too many people are going in and they're darting down the path. Today, the message on this Monday morning Jumpstart is just put foot on path. No longer let the emotion of am I ready stop you from taking the steps.
So do you think
sounds simple, but it's harder. It's hard.
So Ted, for homework for today, do you think it's to discover like what that first action is and then take it, or what do you think should be our it's what are those 2 or 3 actions? Like, and some of this, there's some mental exploration. You know, I'm always going to go there. There's some mental exploration that you may have to do, some introspective work, or like, you know, am I not taking it just because I don't feel good enough? Maybe that's something that we talk about this month when we get into some of these other Monday morning jump starts. But what are those 1 or 2 things? The coach that the mentor that I had, he told me to do 2 things. I hadn't done anything. And he told me to go with a $25 check to my bank and start a business checking account. Now, I had narratives in my head that, you know, you needed thousands of dollars to have a business checking account. He was right. I went and started a business account. He said, come up with a name for your business. I would just call it Ted Capshaw and Associates. You don't need to come up with some crazy name. To date, my business is still called Ted Capshaw and Associates. So he said, do these. And then he said, get on somewhere and incorporate, make it official. And those were the little things that I did. So I love that you're saying, what are those things? And some people are probably progressed way past what I just mentioned. But what are those next steps for everybody on with us today that they have to commit to? And I want a short window. I want 2 weeks. Get these things done in 2 weeks that are going to put you in a position to start doing what you love and bringing in revenue. Yeah, love it. Awesome. Okay, everybody. Well, I think we can get into next week, Ted, more about the solopreneurship, because it does seem like something that we touched on today, if that works. And so plan out your next action step, your next couple steps that are in a small, I like that, like bite-sized piece that you're going to do in the next couple of weeks. And we will see everybody next week. Thank you, Ted.
Yeah.